Welcome back to Just One Question. And one of the fun things about Just One Question 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever it is I'm doing now is I've gone back to some of my favorite folks from the first time around to check in with them now that we are, well, not quite post-pandemic, but sort of hybrid post-pandemic, post-something. Anyway, it feels like it's been a long time, and it's time to check back in with some of my favorite people, like Aaron Larget-Caplan, who is a guitarist and a composer. And he has just come out with a new album, if we still call it that, CD, if we still call it that, collection of works, Honey Cadence, which you can get on Bandcamp and probably all the other things as well, the iTunes store and all those good places. So welcome, Aaron. Thanks for being with us. First of all, how you doing? Just give us
Thank
the
you.
20 seconds.
I'm doing well. I just returned from a residency up outside of Syracuse, New York, in Clinton,
Mm,
and so I'm slowly coming back to earth from being kind of in my little workspace, and so it's nice to be back in Boston.
fun. Yeah, Boston is where it's all happening in many senses, especially musical. But um, given this strange world we're inhabiting, where we're still talking to each other on Zoom some of the time, and the rest of the time we're pretending like we can meet in person and be completely relaxed and easy about that. Um, how are you doing, and what does the musical and performing world look like these days?
Um, well, as I mentioned, I was at a residency and I played two concerts. Um, One of the things I've noticed, though concerts are coming back,
Mm,
which is very exciting. I've toured in California for 2 weeks. I did some concerts in the Boston area. I'm going to Oregon later this month for three concerts. Though concerts are coming back, I do not quite feel that audiences are coming back. And that's
mm,
talking to quite a few high level, top of the list guitar performers, as well as just, people like me. Um, the audiences are definitely small. People are getting half filled spaces. The big concerts, especially outside festivals, the giant groups, the yo-yos, the opera, those big ones, they're gonna sell out. They were,
mhm,
and that is happening.
mhm,
But I find the kind of B-level performances, it's harder to convince people to take that. I don't know if it's a risk.
mm,
um, I I I feel okay, but I definitely find it is kind of we're not in a groove yet. The,
mhm.
the engine's kind of it's on, but there's a couple little putters here and there. So and there's still a lot of hesitancy. I see a lot of chamber music festivals this summer that are doing much smaller. They have a good amount of concerts, but they're smaller groups. And I think that is either because of the hit they took during COVID, or um, in case they have to cancel stuff. It's easier to cancel a duo than a sextet type of thing. Maybe
Uh-huh.
that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, fascinating. And I've noticed too, attending various concerts and things like that, it's still the one place where you have to show your vaccination card typically and wear your mask and all that sort of thing. So there's still an awareness of the risks of COVID there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's playing into this
Well,
feeling that we're not quite fully restored to the way things used.
yeah, and I don't know if I mean, how many vaccinations are you supposed to have at this point? I don't, I know presenters have said, we ask for the card, do we not? And I'm like, if you feel better with a mask, wear a mask. I wore a mask before on public transportation before COVID, so I don't have an issue with that. Um, and I don't know if it's just comfort or just feeling exhausted.
Hmm.
The people going to concerts. I haven't gone to many concerts, but I do quite a bit of online work.
Hmm.
And so my online teaching typically bumps right into concert time.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't say I feel like off we go into the wild blue yonder. Um, but I think it's getting better. I know the uptick in the last 2 weeks. People who I know were super excited to be traveling are kind of like, wait a sec, should I be? But I think it's up to each person to have to make that decision. And on a certain level, though, I feel very positive in that I don't think a lot has changed since pre-COVID. I think the first time we talked, I was very hopeful that this was a kind of wake-up call to society, and there would be changes coming. And I was maybe I was naive, and maybe not naive, but innocent about that. And the certain levels, there are some grants that I have gotten, which is amazing. Because prior to COVID, I didn't exist to the Boston business bureaus and arts bureaus because I wasn't a large organization. And I do think the city of Boston, and this is my personal experience, has woken up. I'm talking to other artists that the federal government and the states are actually like, oh, arts matter. You guys are a business. How do we? So that's a very good positive thing. But I know with some gigs, union rates haven't gone up. Cost of living has gone up. And so one of the things I'm very positive about is talking to a couple people, and I know me talking to my wife, I want to be the change. So there are things I'm not accepting anymore. I don't want to run around with my head cut off and go back to what I was doing in essence before COVID. And so I'm trying, this is new for me, to make different decisions and to be more organized and steadfast and not come from a place of fear, but a place of, this is what I want to be doing, this is how I'm investing in it, and this is how I can afford to do it. If that makes sense.
You're answering, yes, that's helpful and fascinating. You're answering my other question, which was looming in the back of my mind, which is, I wonder if it's too early to tell how much of this is going to be permanent and how much of this is just a transitional stage. And you're suggesting that there may be some elements of this that do become markers for change that goes forward and continues indefinitely in the future, even as we presume some more performances and audiences and sort of courage will come back and allow us to begin to look something like it was pre-COVID.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah. I do want to go back to pre-COVID in the sense of death and dying and sickness. But I do hope that we make some changes. And I hope that I have the Gandhi quote, be the change you want to see in the world. And it just came to the point where I was like, complaining, nothing, this isn't changing. We're going back right to what we were doing before. And I remember I got a few calls and for jobs, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. Continue. I don't think this is the right thing to do. And maybe that'll inspire other people. Maybe that'll get the system to change. I don't know. I know a couple places said, that's okay, great. And they found someone else to replace me within seconds. So, I'm not, the world doesn't revolve around me. I'm very sad to hear this.
Well, nonetheless, it does revolve around your new CD, your new collection, Honey Cadence. So I hope everybody will go out and buy that. Aaron Larget-Caplan, everybody, thanks for that thoughtful set of insights into the performing world and how we might be coming back from wherever it is we are now. So thank you very much for being on Just One Question.
Thank you for having me, Nick. It's great to be back. It's streaming everywhere. Go listen.